Reggie's Corner Variety Gaming.
So, we are here to do not blind let's play, because you've done this before.
Yep.
But we will do a fresh let's play.
Yep.
And are we aiming for 100%
Yes.
or just a thorough play?
We will do 100% and we will do it without skips and no blinks either.
And we are doing it on the 1.5.2 version.
Exactly. So we will do these just because we want it to be as smooth as possible.
Alright, so what is special about this game?
Well, first off, this is the third game in the installment that is chronological. So first we have Metroid,
Yep.
and then it is Metroid Zero Mission,
Yep.
and after that it is this Metroid 2 basically. And I just wonder what that baby Metroid is, because
The one that's following as
yeah,
well. Yes, we could probably say that this version has some new stuff in it.
exactly.
So 100% coverage, we're not sure, like little extras and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
So there could be some surprises. But other than that, this project is like a labor of love project.
Yeah.
It's made by one guy, and it's not an official version. So he released it as a fan project, and it got taken down very quickly indeed by Nintendo.
Yeah, so he had about a week
Yeah.
before it was EMC'd by Nintendo.
Yeah.
And that also, but the silver lining was that it scored him a job at Moon Studios, I think.
Yeah, the Ori Studios.
Yeah, exactly.
And the game kind of survived out there in internet land. So it's been developed by other people since.
Exactly, and also the good Dr. M64, even if he has not any what we call the official knowledge, he still exists at the developers' Discord.
Yeah,
So
he's still a part of the community.
But just to give a short hint of what it meant to develop this, it started basically 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And he did it almost himself. Of course, he had some testers and stuff from the community, but it's almost a self-made game. And he started using a studio called Game Development or something similar.
Yeah.
So it was actually made in an editor, but then he started to get better and he started to scripted and coding and doing stuff like that. But it's kind of amazing what you can do with these tools basically nowadays.
Yeah. I mean, it looks pretty good. Like, it's obviously a retro game, but it looks like a retro game that was kind of made of time. So it's very
Yeah, I would say that if you compare this to Nintendo's own remake, I would say this is more of a remaster. Their remake is like, it is interesting and it's different, but this is the kind of the true spirit that this is what it would look like if Metroid 2 was released to SNES, basically.
Yeah, so that's something we should mention. It was never released on the SNES platform. This is just a game that's made to look like.
Yeah, exactly. So it was released to Game Boy initially, and then it was released to Game Boy Color, and then this happened.
Yes.
And I think it was just a couple of months then after this was taken down that Nintendo actually
announced the launch.
Yeah.
And initially, you played both of these games. Initially, you didn't like the Nintendo version at all, I remember you saying, but you kind of changed a little bit?
Yeah, because like, in the beginning, because it's so different, like, that Samus was supposed to use a melee attack was like, not really at all. Yeah, exactly. And there were a lot of other stuff that was lacking, so, but then when I actually started treated it as a completely new game instead of like a remaster. Then, yeah, exactly, because it has an interesting mechanics that are kind of nice, and it gives, especially in forms of graphics and other things, it gives a lot. So yeah, in the end, I think it's a quite decent game. It's just not what we wanted. I would say that this is it will be, I think, true for the purists of the Final Fantasy VII Remake. It is the same arguments, basically.
So it's like, if you look at it as a cool new project, you can get more out of it than if you look at it like a remaster of the old one.
Yeah, exactly.
So what are we doing right now?
So, we have started to collect the first real important item, and that's the bomb that you can use in the morph mode. And something that is unique also for this game is that you are traveling faster in the morph mode than you do running. So for that reason you are supposed to be in morph mode until you get the speed boots.
Yeah.
And I think that is also one of the reasons that a few of the strats that many people recognize from Super Metroid, like the morph ball, for example, is not really that useful, because like you want not the speed of running when you are in morph ball. You would like the opposite, basically, which is not achievable. But there are a few other things that this game has that Super Metroid does not have. For example, I'm not that really, it's like a pixel perfect trick, but you can, as I was mentioning, skipping.
Yeah. There's quite a few strats that you can master if you want to put the time into it. And that can shave the times down and do some stuff more accessible earlier in the game.
Yeah, some tricks we will see. We will definitely see some spike shine sparks and bomb jumps and stuff like that.
And also maybe even if we won't show some stuff, we'll mention it, like where you can do stuff.
And if you want to see a real good or professional speedrun, I would recommend Metroid Marathon. It's played every year, and they have since 2 years now AM2R as a part of their lineup.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So he's there.
And I would say that I have recently just get into a shy 3 hours, and I think the current record is about roughly an hour and 10 minutes or so.
Yes, that's a good time.
Yeah.
What time are you aiming for roughly in this playthrough?
I would say that due to that we are kind of trying to explain stuff, it will be probably a bit, I would say, more than 3 hours, but around 3 hours.
it's still a decent time, for sure. And also, it should be more pleasant to watch.
Yeah.
Because otherwise we would probably be really quiet and just rush.
Yeah. And all these kind of... the developer, he had actual speedrunners as testers for this game. So there are quite a lot of these kind of shortcuts and stuff that is kind of built for speedrunning in Tetris.
Which is kind of cool because like this series is very popular among the speedrunning crowd.
Yeah.
As well as Mega Man's and platforming games in general. But this is one of the more classic series in the genre, so it was a good fit. So I can understand that you kind of wanted them to learn to from the get-go.
And something also that could be mentionable, that is the route I'm taking for collecting all the items is not kind of the preferred 100% lineup, due to that I'm still a bit like, if I'm not going the way that picks up the most of the items directly, I will probably losing my way a bit, and then we will sit and watching me trying to read the map for some time just to remember what item I have missed.
Yeah, well you won't, because I'll edit that stuff away. We will. That's bad enough.
Yeah. And here's also something interesting for this game, is that Mistas has blast radius. So these blocks are destroyable.
That's cool.
Even if you're a bit from them, and that is actually can be used for some special places to say, yeah. And this is a kind of, I don't know why they put in 2 puzzles, but I guess every Metroid needs to has like at least 1 puzzle.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned that previously, that you thought that they kind of wanted to have more initially, and then maybe they just didn't want to.
Probably.
So they probably left those in there because they've already done it, and as you say, there's usually 1 or 2 anyway.
Yeah.
But there's not a lot.
No. And I think that actually is kind of good, because like the purpose with Metroid is that if you're doing it correctly, it should just be like a waterfall. It shouldn't. You should never have to stop.
It'd be smooth. So we all watched the intro for the game. It's not super long. Is there anything more about the lore that you want to mention?
Yeah, there is this golden temple, for example.
Yeah.
It's a part of created by the Chozo, which are this bird. Just to give some time, you can see this statue is representing one of them, and they started to exist like a couple of thousand years before this time, and they were kind of the guardians of the galaxy, to reference the movie, but and anyhow they
and this is a technique that's totally worth mentioning. Flying up into there. The reason that we're not up at the same time is it kind of needs to be full concentration mode to get this to So that was a neat little trick.
Yep.
Obviously, you have to know exactly kind of where that part of the ceiling is.
Yeah. Yeah, but I was saying, they started out a couple of thousand years ago, but they recently, and we are talking like just 20 years before the first game, or it might started a bit before that, but they started to disappear because they were getting too old to reproduce. They have too long lifespan, and nobody wanted to get kids for some reason.
And they outgrew their...
Exactly. So they actually invented Mother Brain to help them as an AI to help them to guard the galaxy in some way. And they also found something called Parasite X. That is horrible stuff that infects the bodies of any creature, kind of like take their soul and the memories and do nasty stuff.
Okay, so it's like a mutagen.
So what they did, they actually created the Metroids.
So they're everywhere.
Yeah, and they launched these Metroids on this planet to kill these parasites.
Yeah.
And that go too well, kind of, because like the Metroids were fusing with the virus and becomes
even better.
Yeah, exactly. And at some point there, the space pirates invaded, and the Mother Brain actually joined the space pirates and abandoned the Chosen.
Yeah, so there's like a whole thing.
Yeah.
Also, as you could see, there's like small information snippets.
Yeah.
So there's a logbook that you can access in-game. You want to look at things.
They also, so fast forwarding a bit, the space pirate, as many of us know, attacked Samus when she was just a baby, or very young at least.
Yeah.
But the Choto actually saved Samus, and they kind of fused her with her suit and the special abilities and stuff like that. So they are both the destroyers and the creators of her thing.
That's a cool little lore.
Yeah. And they got and then Samus joined the Federation Force and the first Metroid mission and so on and so forth.
It's a lot of intricate lore.
Yeah.
And there's also like expanded universe lore, where there's like some mangas that you can get your hands on.
Yeah. And I would say that I am about a retro person, so I have not really played anything that is not the Game Boy Advance, or the old consoles. But I know that many people like the Prime games for Nintendo. I think the first was, I don't know, GameCube or
something like that. So it's old, but not that old.
And those games actually contains a bit more lore than these previous, because they don't actually have any lore at all.
And of course, if you are super into the lore, you can get all of it online. Like there's a lot of people that are really into the lore.
But
it's going to switch screen. Yeah.
I don't know why they have included that. That's new for this. As you said, this is a brand spanking new version that is 5.2. And we can talk a little bit more of the versions after this first mini-boss. And it's pretty simple. You just tank it and go down.
Yeah, like let's just tank it.
Especially on easy and when you're picking up all the tanks and stuff, it's just a matter of that's it. Yeah, so the new stuff for this version is that they included they had New Game Plus before, and New Game Plus is basically that you can travel anywhere on the map, like the Hive, directly from the get-go. And but for this version they have included both randomizer, and they also included a fusion mode, which is something similar to Super Metroid Impossible. That's just super, basically a lot of more damage, and harder and everything.
Yeah, so the baby thing is probably just for fun.
Yeah,
because it looks like it just followed you around.
We will see if I can get this. So the basic idea is that you go up here and you do a bump jump directly into sticky, so that you can grab the ledge.
But yes.
It's not that easy, and it's just for getting like one extra mistake. So we're skipping it. It is a lot easier. Normally, you save that room for the cleanup run, but as I said, I at least want to mark it on the map so I remember that it existed.
And a lot of the stuff you can get early, you will be getting eventually. Even if you don't do the shortest way to get it, you'll come back.
Yeah.
And you have new powers to make it easy.
Yeah.
Like, almost every time.
So that was the first area. Now we are continuing traversing to area 2.
Yeah.
And for the first area was called Golden Temple, and the next is Hydra Station that we are going for.
Yeah. And we killed one little boss, and we had like a couple of small. We didn't mention those, like flying dudes. What are they?
They are the Metroids.
Yeah, like there are different types. So those were like the standard small ones. That looks really pretty.
Yeah, it is. It's all about rhythm.
Yeah.
And the hard part is getting off the first one.
Yeah. I mean, it's very obvious that once you get the timing down, just a matter of time to get it.
Yep. So basically, because it's not enough with one bomb, because it's too late. So you need to have two bombs that are shy after each other.
So you get a bit of elevation. Yeah.
And then it's like, then you can basically, it's like a half a second and you just press. So it's super easy.
First two.
Yeah.
So anyway, the Metroids have 3 different types, and the ones we've seen so far are the small ones.
Yeah, they are Alpha, Beta, Gamma, and Omega.
Right, so it's 4.
Yeah.
And they'll get, of course,
more
difficult
wishes.
and bigger.
Yeah. And there is also a room that we will get back to later, just marking it. So, and also progression-wise, you need to kill enough, like 7 Metroids in this area in order to be able to progress. So, in contrast to like Super Metroid, as we said, it's really linear in that way, almost to the end of the game. And that's why they created this new game mode that you can use, that is New Game Plus.
Yeah.
And then you can route it however you want, because you can go, as you said, almost everywhere.
That's a good mix.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of everything. So here's Hydra Station that you mentioned.
Yeah, exactly. So first we are gonna try to wall climb here, and these are enormous enemies. And the upcoming... No, yeah, we have actually one more bomb jump that is kind of neat left. Let's see if we get the visual cue.
Very nice.
Yep.
That was a big one.
So here's another technique that is called, I think it's just kind of flying, but what basically it is that you're doing morph and unmorph in the air, so it will look something like this.
Oh, and that'll take you further out and over to that side.
Exactly. So here's the infamous climb. It's not that it's super hard to walk up, but it's because the ledges and the enemies and doing it in a real, doing it truly fluid is really a challenge. So probably I will cheat a bit and do it last the easy way.
Yeah, well, you know, whatever gets it done.
Yeah.
You're all about the results.
And a thing about the drop is that if you have full health, for example, you will get missiles, and if you have full missiles, you will get like super missiles later on, and so on. So it's really, there are no RNG in it,
which is good. So you can actually plan what you get.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, let's do. I think it's right. So, and these are kind of annoying because it's the greenish area always for all of them.
Yeah.
And they can only be hurt by missiles. So now we're playing 100%, it's not that bad. But in low percent, it can be a thing.
Yeah, like just getting there.
And those enemies can also really...
Yeah. You can tell that they're not.
Yeah. Okay. So here we get our next wave beam, our first beam. So it's kind of nice. It's going,
it's
so showcasing it, you can go through walls.
through walls, and it's much wider. So
Yeah.
you can put stuff easier.
Yeah. Okay. Killing off the robots.
Yeah. So, if you are a budding new speedrunner and you want to get into this series,
Yeah.
the classic games, is this one you should start with, or is it one you could start with, or is it one you would say is a good one to like try out?
It depends. I would say,
And here we have the high jump boots as well.
either this or Super Metroid, but Super Metroid I would say is actually harder from technique perspective, because wall jumping is much tougher, bomb jumping is tougher, and it's a bit more challenging I think overall, because it doesn't have, this has more than features like easy, for example.
Yeah.
Super Metroid is, I wouldn't say super hard, but it's more challenges at least. I think this is
more old school.
if you are interested in these kind of retro Metroids, I would say either this or Metroid Fusion for Game Boy Advance.
Yeah.
Or I think it's also in Nintendo Virtual Console.
Yeah, so you
It's,
can get it for your basic console.
Yeah. So, yeah.
But this one is a good one.
Yeah, and especially because it's community made, it's fantastic in that regard.
And also there is a community, so if you get stuck somewhere,
Mhm.
there's a lot of people that you can ask for.
And there will also be in 1.6 or in 2.0 when that arrives. It will be, I think it will be optional or another game mode, but they will expand the game a lot. Because this is, with a few exceptions, kind of the same as the original.
Yeah.
But that would be like a brand new.
Yeah, it's almost like a added DLC.
Yeah. So that could be really interesting.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we do another run of the game when that arrives. Because it will probably, as you say, it will probably be a different experience altogether. We'll see. If you are still into the game at that time, there might
Probably,
be.
I would say that I would play any good Metroidvania, and they have such good
It's very well made.
template for this. So yeah.
As long as they keep the quality up, it'll be interesting.
And the thing with the, as I said, I would say probably just because we are talking, is that you're missing stuff and you need to really have a close look at the map, because otherwise it's easy to, let's see, miss stuff. So for example here you can see that the room is not completed, and that's like an indicator. So most places, I would say 98% of the cases there are actually visual cues to where stuff is.
Which is nice.
But there are a few places where you just need to know.
So yeah, that's good that you mentioned it, that because we will be talking, you haven't like 100% attention on the game, so if we miss stuff, we'll just come back.
And do a lot of like small fuck-ups here and there.
Yeah, there will definitely be one or two like errors here and there, but
That's I'm still amazed by like the true speedrunners that can talk for a complete speedrun. Usually they have
hours.
and usually have someone that helps them out, but actually support and do
I think that's
super
where
hard
the
stuff.
like 10,000 hours comes in.
Yeah.
That a lot of their gaming is done by like Romas and
Yeah.
Thank you for watching part 1 of this 100% Let's Play of AM2R. If you liked it, please press those like and subscribe buttons. I also hope to see you again in the next part. But for now, it is indeed goodbye.